A three-judge bench headed by Chief Justice of India, Justice Chandrachud, has found that prison manuals in more than 10 states, including UP, Bengal, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra and Kerala, continue to have provisions which sanction discrimination and forced labor on the ground of caste in prisons. The court has asked for a response from the states and the centre within 4 weeks on the petition which has been filed by journalist Sukanya Shanta, represented by senior advocate S. Muralidharan and advocate Prasanna S. The petition says that Dalits even have a separate ward in prisons and work is assigned on the basis of caste. For instance, the so-called lower castes clean the toilets, while the so-called upper castes work in the kitchens. Let me bring in my guests. Sunil Gupta is former spokesperson of Tihar Jail. He is also the author of Black Warrant, Confessions of a Tihar Jailer. Sukanya Shanta is a journalist of The Wire. She's the petitioner in this case. We'll be joined by Professor Badri Narayan as well shortly. Sukanya, what are these provisions, since you're the petitioner, in these 10 states which clearly sanction discrimination and forced labor on the ground of caste in these prisons?
Right. Maria, so prisons is a state subject, and every state has its own prison rules, according to which the prisons are actually function. So in these states that we have actually, so we went through the prison manual across the country, and in these 11 states particularly, we found that the segregation of prisoners is done on the basis of caste. When it comes to labor division. So in the case of, for example, for Madhya Pradesh, it specifically says that manual scavenging work or the cleaning of toilets work will be done by a community, by prisoners belonging to the Mehtar community. In the case of West Bengal, it says like the cleaning work will be done by prisoners belonging to the Chandar community. These communities are classified as the scheduled caste in these respective states. Similarly, it says that the priestly caste or the so-called priestly caste or the Brahmin caste are the ones who would actually be assigned the work of doing of cooking in the prisons. So these are like the problematic things that like I found out in my when I was reporting for The Wire in 2020 December. And the petition actually goes beyond that now. In past 3 years, we've actually like studied the prison manual a little more and realized that it is not just like the division is not just made on the basis of caste, but also there is like a discriminative treatment being meted to people belonging to the denotified tribe.
So basically, all this discrimination, Professor Badri Narayan, welcome. Sunil Gupta is actually sanctioned by the state.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Gupta, go ahead.
Yeah. Basically, you see, even in Delhi jail manual, this was stipulated that Bhangi will do this sewage work. All this was done by the Britishers when they drafted this Punjab jail manual, which was applicable on most of the states of the country. But in 1988, we got this amended in Delhi, and this caste system was totally removed from the provisions of the manual. But I want to tell you that even though this caste system is there in some manual, but most of the time, my experience with Delhi jails, most of the times, the people who are doing menial duties in the jail, or who are doing sewage work, or who is doing such type of duties, which they have allocated to lower caste, I have seen that most of the time, these people of the upper caste, prisoner of the upper caste, they were requesting for these jobs, since for doing these jobs, they were getting better remissions. Like I want to tell you that if someone is doing sewage work in the jail, he is getting 7-day remission per month. Whereas for other prisoner, it is 5-day per month. So most of the time, this was the higher caste people who were saying to us that give us these jobs. So even though this is discriminatory and this should not have happened, and the Supreme Court has deprecated this practice, in Sunil Batra's judgment. But despite that,
Then why weren't these jail manuals revisited?
Yeah, they should revisit the jail manual. You see that jail is the last priority area of any state governance. You see, in Delhi
Yes.
we are having, they are giving due attention to the jail. They are giving money for the jail purposes. But in other states, this is the last priority area for any government, and that is the reason these provisions still exist in the jail manual.
Okay, Professor Badri Narayan, what's shameful is that segregation used to be on the basis of prison status, like convicts are separated from under trial prisoners, but not on caste-based discrimination. And we are discussing about something like this today in the times that we live in. So, we should have, these things could have happened in the past, but why now?
Maria, actually, past circulates in our present and sometimes also affect our future. These past stereotypes which were created by the society in various kinds because of various reasons. This is still alive in our social psyche. And the colonial time, this criminal tribe, the tribe as a criminal, the community as a criminal, the community as a lowly located for lower work. That kind of psyche has evolved among the elites or middle class or sahibs of our society. And those sahibs, which always evolve, the sahib community always evolve. And it is beyond caste and community also. And sometimes, even the caste which are coming from various, even middle castes, they can also evolve as a sahib, and they can treat the lower caste if they become officers in the same way, the way the sovereign upper caste can do. So this is the one thing in administration, the colonial constructions of our mind, which is circulating, and that is because, and that says that, look, this is the denotified tribe, this is the criminal tribe. It's a long struggle of this community since independence to come out from this criminal tribe category. But they came out administratively, but they couldn't come out from our social psyche.
So what happened to all those prison reforms, Sunil Gupta?
Yeah, you see that some states are going well with the prison reforms, but some states are still behind in implementing the prison reforms. And this is this caste system. This caste system is still existing in some jail manual, as your reports say, because they are not giving proper attention to the jail manual. But I want to tell you that practically this is not happening in the states, even though this is in the jail manual, but practically this is not happening in any state. That my knowledge says.
Okay, so it's not happening in all states, but Sukanya, what is evident here is that those who are inside prisons are deprived of their fundamental rights or the equality code only because they are prisoners. And then they are subjected to this kind of discrimination. Among all those states whose explanation has been sought by the Chief Justice, which is the state which is most discriminatory?
So I'll just I would want to actually clarify what Mr. Gupta actually mentioned, that most states are not following it. So the story that we did in the Wire did not just look at the manual. We actually supported whatever was written in the manual. We checked it with prisoners, like with ex-prisoners, with prisoners who are actually serving their terms. We spoke to lawyers, we spoke to family members, and we had over a dozen testimony that were collected over a period of a few months before the story was put out. So to say that these manuals actually carry such kind of discriminatory rules doesn't really play out in reality. I would actually beg to differ here, because that's not what we actually found out in our investigation. Coming to which is the worst state, I would say perhaps almost every state that we went to, and I had traveled across 8 states for this particular story, and so it's really bad. As in, like a person who belongs to, say, like a Raza community and is not a manual scavenger, is not actually like following the caste occupation while outside the prison, is an electrician, and when he's coming to the prison is made to clean toilets merely because he is or she or like he's born in a certain caste. It's problematic, and this is something that is actually playing out across different states. Maharashtra doesn't have mention of caste in the prison manual, but in Maharashtra we did find like prisoners were actually assigned work as per their caste. So the role that one actually plays is actually forced to play in prison is basically as per the caste is what we actually found during our investigation, and we have like so many testimonies mentioned in the report that the wire had actually filed in December 2020.
Yes, and those testimonies are certainly eye-openers, Sukanya. So thank you for that research. Professor Badri Narayan, final words to you, the last word to you.
Maria, actually, we have to change our administrative system, but also the society, because we are coming in administrative domains from the society. So what Sukanya was saying, that the person who has left the manual service, this traditional occupation, even then he was assigned the kind of work, because the stereotype in our mind that this community is made for this, and he or she has to do this kind of job. So we have to come out from what Ambedkar used to tell, that everything has to go in society, and we have to change the society. Social democracy or social psyche need to be changed. Otherwise, even we are post-colonial, even we are independent India, the colonial type circulates in our administrative psyche. And Sahabs are very good in capturing the past processes of dominance, because they always need they always explore the space of being dominant. So that's that kind of, we have to save our country from this kind of sahibs and try to make society change the social stereotypes of.
And we certainly hope that these rules are outrightly, torn for perhaps and rejected, and newer rules which do not, almost legitimize these discriminations are rewritten. I think that's the need of the hour. So Sukanya, congratulations for this story, and we certainly hope that your story leads to changes and reforms. Professor Badri Narayan and Sunil Gupta, thank you so much. We are putting out those stories on ndtv.com. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.